I guess we'll get going on this. In 3, 2, 1, go. So this is StarTropics 2. This was the second to last game released on the NES. The last game being Wario's Woods. So there's going to essentially be two parts to this game. There's going to be an overworld section, and then there's going to be a dungeon section. At the beginning of this game, though, I just have text that I sort of have to mash through. I'm not really mashing. Through this game, there's actually a buffering system. I can literally buffer every input that I want to in this game. It's more prominent in the first game where you're stuck on a grid for your movement, but in this one where they unlocked that to an 8-way direction, it becomes less relevant. But when I'm going through text like this, I literally just have to hold A at any point during the next text box, and it'll automatically advance in the first frame possible. Thanks for the Lakobo Gem. Okay, so that's the first chapter, all about story. We're getting sent back in time, and we have to go find these stones called tetrads, but we don't know that yet. We'll find that at the end of the dungeon. All I know so far is that I said some magic words that are the words to surf and bird, and now I'm in the Stone Age. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, down, 1, 2, down. Okay, I took that a little carefully because during that little area right there, there's actually pitfalls that I need to avoid. It's the same path every time through, so I just need to make sure I go through it carefully enough. So this dungeon wants you to figure some stuff out in the overworld in order to complete it. Up at the top right of the dungeon, there's some cave paintings that I'm supposed to be able to use to get further in the dungeon, but I know what the path is already, so I don't need to actually go look at that. Okay, I'm going to attempt a trick up here, and hopefully I get it. It's called the Void Walk. Let's see if I get this. I can set it up again. There we go. Okay. Whew, that was scary, especially with the reset up on it. I still saved time overall, so basically that allowed me to skip going through 4 separate rooms, so if I do it first try, that saves 13 seconds. And I'll explain it in a minute after I've got a bit of an easier spot to go through. Okay, so essentially when I do that, I go through and I take damage on the same frame that I land on a seam of land and void or water at the same time, and it tricks the game into thinking that I am actually still on the land when I'm actually not. Having these bears line up like this is a little unfortunate. Alright, so this is where those cave paintings that I mentioned would come in handy. I just know the way through, so I don't actually need to bother. It's 1 left, 3 up, 1 right, 3 down. It's pretty easy. Okay, so we're through that maze. If you fail that, go in any wrong direction, it sends you back to the beginning of the dungeon. Here's our first boss fight. A little bit slow. I failed some precise hits on that, but that's alright. So Yum Yum, while he's sitting there, doesn't care if you're hitting him while he's still eating. So you can just unload into him and it's fine. Yeah, it sends you back to the beginning of the dungeon. Here I'm gonna hopefully get another glitch. I missed it, okay. It's a frame perfect trick. If I hit select on the overworld, that tells me what chapter I'm in currently. And if I frame perfectly hit it before that text box starts, it puts Mike, the main character, over to the right 2 seconds faster than what he's normally supposed to be. Yeah, not much of a boss fight. However, there is a secret part of the boss fight. If you kill the boar while he's still eating it, he actually doubles his speed and like triples his output of attacks. It becomes much, much, much harder. Yeah, we got a block, guys. But now we have a tetrad. Fun fact, this game got released on VC, Wii VC and Wii VC, but because Nintendo didn't have the rights to Tetris anymore, they had to change the name Tetrad to just Block for the entire game. This is radical. So this game is extremely 90s. With its terms and puns and things, and it is fantastic. It's a very wacky story. Like I said, we're traveling through time and space and such right now to collect these tetrads, which we'll see what the purpose of them is for at the end of the game. Puzzle is my middle name, yeah. You'll see that later. Alright, so we're into the second area. We're in Egypt now. Every overworld section, I have to talk to specific people before I can advance. So this one I have to talk to these specific 4 people on the barge before I can go talk to Cleopatra. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they didn't just say Tetramino or what. I don't know. Blah blah seeking tetrads. That's a phrase that you're going to get used to saying if you're reading the text. That's one of my favorite parts of the text of this as well, is when he gets to a new person, he's like, oh, I have to explain what I'm doing. But rather than recapping it for you, it just says blah blah. You know, seeking pizza, seeking tetrads. Speaking of pizza, as just said, our purpose right now is to go get Cleopatra pizza, because it's been 3 days since she ordered it from Italy. So I've got to go get her pizza right now, because she's very hungry, having not eaten in 3 days for some reason. That was a really good room. Nice. It's always scary doing a jump like that, but, you know, it puts me a few more pixels ahead before I leave the room, so... If you're counting correctly, then you should be able to do that every time. Ooh, that's not good. Alright, we're fine though. This is the checkpoint. Okay, up in a couple of rooms, I'm gonna attempt a really scary jump, and hopefully I get it. I didn't get the up input. That's unfortunate. Okay, I'll do it the normal way. So, if you notice, you know, we have different levels to the ground there, and doorways and things like that. With the doorways, you can, and pillars, you can push yourself forward an extra pixel, and I'll demonstrate it here in a minute, just with this doorway here. But see, if I do right there, you see how Mike got pushed over to the right slightly. I basically abuse that to make it so that I can make this jump without having to come up here, normally. and make the 2-gap jump that you normally can't make. But that's alright. Okay, I'm a little low on health, so I'm trying to make sure I don't take any more damage. Here's the boss fight. I'm gonna take this boss fight really slowly with the health that I have. Oops. Okay. I only have 1 heart. I can just, like, suicide in the next dungeon to refill health. Alright. Well, that's a little unfortunate. I missed that jump, but that's alright. It doesn't set us too far back. So right now, we gotta tell this guy, you know, we're seeking pizza. He's gonna rent us a camel. And we're going to ride. And ride. And ride. And ride. For a very long time. Until we meet someone on a Koopa Troopa, because this is the best way to deliver pizza. Yes, it is quite the low health in ways, unfortunately, so that's partially why I'm going to take a death, is because I don't want you guys to have to suffer through that, because it's pretty bad, I admit. Alright. Run, run, hurry, hurry. The pizza's still warm. Imagine a pizza being in the desert for 3 days and still being warm. Chomp chomp, choo choo. Yo, who here likes Caesar's Hut pizza? It's the desert, but I mean, I have to get it to her before it cools. The text said so. So Cleopatra's going to give me a bronze dagger now, in exchange for the axe that I had. I can actually get this dagger before going into the previous dungeon, but it's actually slower for me to do it for the time that it takes to go get it, by a few seconds. It gives me, I think, another half damage to everything I do. Alright, here we've got this big old maze that we gotta go through to find this monkey. This was everyone's nightmare as a child. You're supposed to, you know, like any corn maze that you may have been to, you've got platforms to stand on to help you see where to go. Alright. Like I said, I'm just gonna take a death here so that you guys can not have to listen to that. Domino John's is better? I don't know. But to each their own. So rooms are always different as far as what the clear that you have to do for it is. Some of them it's kill all enemies or only specific enemies. Some of them it's a switch. So it's always different. Alright, that's the first of these. There's that monkey again. Little Murphy's alright, yeah, I could go for Little Murphy's. Ducks have fire breath, yeah, man. Right here, just gotta kill the frogs. The one-eyed frogs. Papa Nobunaga's? I don't know, that seems a bit ambitious. It's a very weird maze to go through. I basically use the placement of the tables to determine where I need to go from there. But we are finally out of there. I'll be a monkey's uncle. That monkey just gave me psychic powers. Alright, so with that we can enter the pyramid officially now. That was down to the south. Which he conveniently teleports us to because he's a psychic monkey. I guess. Okay, we're fine. Gotta jump there for an invisible hole. I almost maneuvered that very wrongly. We're fine though, everything's fine, this is fine, we had our pizza. Pizza gives strength. Here we actually intentionally have to take this invisible pit. That'll happen once or twice through the run. One more. Okay. I still want the psychic shockwave. So these enemies right here don't die. They will always come back after you hit them. So I just need to hit them once and then move on. Something to note with the movement in this game is you don't... Hold on. Did not expect to not hit the guy. Sorry. You don't move any slower by moving diagonally in this game. There we go. So I can move against walls and everything and still move the exact same speed as if I would be a cardinal direction. Which makes things really convenient, because then I don't have to slow down for specific movement. Nice. That was very good. Got some good luck from the beetles. Some enemies are only affected by the psychic shockwave, so that's why I have to kill the zombies with that. Please. Okay. Here we have a snake in the room. That's a clue, actually, for... The game gets really clever with how you're supposed to get through some rooms. Here we killed some mummies with a mustache. Stay away. I don't want to kill the last one because it'll open up a room to the left, which will waste time. So we're going to go back the way we came, say hi to the mustache mummies again. So the item I just picked up is a flute, you know, to charm snakes with. And since there's a snake in this room, we're going to play the flute. And what do you know? Snakes appear. Please, hit the snake. Snakes. Okay. Alright. That was some luck there. And here's the boss for this one. It's called the Monster Mask. And I hope that he doesn't go to the back tiles like that. Okay. And that's why it's called the Monster Mask. Okay. That thing was nightmare fuel as a child, let me tell you. Wow, you've done it. It is a cave yard smash. Alright, we got our second tetrad now. Our life level is increased. So that is something to note. I do need to be very wary about my health because it refills after every single chapter. So the more health I have, the less it has to refill. Every single one of those hearts wastes 1 second of time. So the more health that I have, the better, just based on that. Not necessarily just because I have a, you know, more health to be safe. Part of the difficulty of this game is that, as you may have noticed, there's not really any invincibility frames in it. So if you take a hit, you better get off that enemy or you will die. Very, very, very fast. So we use the Oxford Wonder. Saying the bird is a word again. Surfing bird, yeah. And we found ourselves, you know, in front of Sherlock Holmes as a result. You shout Zoda X. Mike likes to shout a lot when he speaks to people. We have a dog, but we're not going to pet the dog because it's slow, unfortunately. But there is a second dog right here, and I'm going to pet this one for you all. There we go. So here we need to talk to this officer. I'm out late to the museum, so he's going to throw me in jail because I'm suspicious, and it's a very shoddy jail. Unvalidated, exactly. See, this game gets away with that. Yeah, Sherlock Holmes is the very real person, because we're going into alternate timelines and things as well. The Zoda X that we're fighting is actually the Zoda that we killed in the first game, but this one is from a different timeline. Hold down. I held down. Woo! I always hold up because I think it puts me straight in the dungeon, and it doesn't. If I went to the left there, I could go down and find a big heart. I don't actually need to collect the big hearts in the overworld because after every chapter it gives them to me anyway. So there's no point in grabbing them for the time it wastes. Alright, so that gap jump I failed earlier, I actually have to do one here. Up, please. I was holding up. It registered up right. Okay, we'll try it again. I actually have to do this one, otherwise, I actually don't know how to get through this dungeon. Because it's like a 3-minute time skip. There we go. So as you saw, it pushed me forward just slightly. And that allowed me to get up to the platform that I needed to, which skips the entirety of this dungeon. That was good. Except the last jellyfish went in a weird direction. Alright. Okay. And here we have this boss. It's a giant raspberry. We're gonna destroy this raspberry instead of eating it. Just like that. That was pretty good. Alright, there was Zoda X. Now we've got to run after him. I didn't know where he went, so conveniently the only path in the sewers showed where he went. So these enemies right here have a random pattern every single run. Sometimes they just go in a really small area back and forth. Sometimes they run after you, but it's different every single time. You'll see why Zoda has those feet. Why Zoda X specifically has those feet. This game definitely happened IRL, yep, I agree. So fun fact about the StarTropics games, these were released for the American audience only. It was developed by the same team that did Punch-Out, and released only in North America, and the first game was released in Europe as well, but not the second game for some reason. Sadly. Down here. Alright, now here we got a bit of an auto-scroller. I'm not going to pick up the sign. The sign gives me extra lives, but I don't need it, and it wastes time because he sits there and spins the sign before you can move again. Okay, I have to be careful on the rafts because these are the moving platforms are the only things in the game that you can actually fall off by walking. This guy trying to home in on me. Alright, here's Zoda X. I'm gonna hopefully one-cycle him, but it depends on the pattern he gives me. Well, I screwed it up, but he didn't give me the good pattern anyway. I didn't get my shots off properly, so this is going to be a longer fight. Ow. 3 of the skull attack in a row. That's actually very rare. That's the attack that we wanted. So, at the beginning, there's Zoda X's true form, which is the Zoda that we killed in the first game, but again, this is one from a different timeline. Also why he has the frog feet. I don't know if they had Pizza Hut in Japan at the time. 94. But anyway, as far as fighting Zoda X goes, he gave me the correct spawn that I needed, which was at the bottom left. Sometimes he spawns in the middle right, or to the right of that, so right in the middle, but also at the bottom. If he spawns there, that's good, that's the first step. The second one is you need him to do the flame attack, because he stays on screen for a really long time, and while you're at the bottom of the screen, the bottom flame doesn't even appear, because it's off screen. Which gives you a clear shot of him. Say the magic words. Papa Uma Mau Mau. This is radical. Yeah. Sadly, a lot of people don't know this game even exists because they played the first one, and then, as a lot of people did, they moved on to the SNES by the time this game had come out, so no one ever knew this one even released. Alright, so now we're in the Old West. Again, I gotta go talk to specific people to get the triggers. Oh, he moved away from me. That's unfortunate. That's random. I gotta get a Tet Tot Rad now. So, here in this place we're looking for a Tet Tot Rad. After I've talked to him, though, I can just head on down here to Bob's store. It's the best brand I've ever seen. Bob's store. And Bob, at Bob's store, is going to, you know, give me some dynamite, because every child should have dynamite. Mike is like 16. He's a junior in high school. So thanks, Bob. And with that, I'm going to come down here to find the spot that I have to blow up on the wall. 1, 2, 3, this one. I went to go to the left and I was like, that seems like it's too high. There's actually a dance that you're supposed to do over by a cactus, and that's how you get through it. But I don't actually need to do that. There's a lot of overworld things that indicate what you have to do to get to or through dungeons. And in this case, you had to go to a saloon where someone's playing a piano, and he teaches you the Cactus Dance. And so you have to find a cactus in the desert that is shaped differently than the others. And from there, do the dance around the cactus to indicate which spot you're supposed to go left on. Okay, and in this dungeon, I am gonna hopefully get a new thing that I've been going for that will save a lot of time, but is extremely hard. Oh, coins are awful. Okay, let's see if we get it. Ooh, this is bad luck from those guys. Oh! Dang, I thought I had the frame perfect one. I think I had to move over one more pixel. So I can void walk on that right there. Using the boulder that the boss has. I won't go for it again. But it's got a lot of frame perfect movement involved with it that you can buffer, so that's why it's not too difficult, but obviously I wasn't able to get it that time, so we're just going to kill the boss this time. That's a little disappointing. I've been practicing that a lot. Please kill the boss. That was a really slow fight, but oh well, we're through. So, again, it would have let me void walk, which would have allowed me to jump down here without having to fight the boss, and that would have saved me like 16 seconds. I didn't play with free dynamite as a kid. I had a very protected life. No, I can just do this. I don't need to take a death. Just do that. The death would give me about the same amount of health anyway. So this is fine. This here is the hardest dungeon in the game. So we're gonna hope that we clear it quickly. And it's the hardest dungeon because of the mini-boss and the boss both. Okay, we're just gonna use that now. So, I found a donkey inside the mine that gave me a psychic upgrade. So far we found a psychic donkey and a psychic monkey. But this thing now has a bit more range and a bit more power to it. I'm gonna grab this for safety. Oh geez, that's really bad to be taking damage this early. That was a really bad pattern from these. Okay, so this is part 1, that's awful. Okay, get me through, get me through, get me through! Oh, that was heavy. Okay, but we're through. This is the checkpoint. That thing is by far my least favorite part of the game, the minecart. It's random as to which of the 4 directions it comes from at all times. And the golden child is what the enemy it drops is. Will always respawn if you kill one. He's almost dead. There we go. Okay. Whew, okay, that's a huge relief to get past this chapter without a death. Or this dungeon, anyway. Like a huge, huge relief. So, the fastest way, obviously, is to not use the star because it takes time to use it. But you have the boulders that walk around randomly, or roll around. And then you have the miner, who dashes around randomly. That fight is super, super hard. Because, again, you don't have any invincibility frames. So once you get stuck on one of those, it's like, oh, now I have 4 boulders all surrounding me. And you have nowhere to go, so you die in, like, half a second. I had a decent amount of health as well, so that's pretty good. To make sure I don't have to refill as much. So, fun fact, there are other places in the walls that you can use the dynamite on. Some of them have gold nuggets in them that you can go turn in and that'll give you points. The points mean nothing in this game. At all. They're just there. But you can go turn them in to the guy to get more dynamite and get points for it. There's also 1 or 2 caves that have a chicken nugget in it. And you will eat it. And you will find it delicious. Alright, so now we're in Italy. Someone is trapped inside plaster. And we're gonna go into his basement and steal all his stuff. Alright, so you guys know how I have a bronze dagger? Well, here I have a katana. but only in this room. I have a dagger again. So as far as the katana goes, I actually get the katana after I finish this dungeon. So I think they just forgot that you weren't supposed to have it there, but it didn't affect anything anyway, so it doesn't matter. Hopefully I get this room correctly. Nice. Oh. Well, that room went about as good as I could hope for, so I'm pretty happy that I got one good room that's really hard in this game. I gold split that. Woohoo, let's go. Alright, so we went through the treacherous basement to go find a chisel and a hammer. Made our way back. Gotta be careful. Hey, and there he is. We got about half the game to get. We got like 20 minutes left. 25 minutes left. Alright, so here's Leonardo. What do you think of the new painting, guys? I don't know. I think the hairstyle's a little old. Oh yeah, it's radical. Now we're talking. Alright, so Leonardo da Vinci just gave me my katana. Sputter, sputter, cough, cough. I'm using a slang machine. Leonardo was missing his shell. I chiseled it off. So here we're gonna land. It's just a spot to get a big heart at, but again, we don't need to get it because the game gives them to us at the end of every chapter. So we're just gonna bypass that. Alright, so the rest of this, there's not a whole lot of dungeon to it. It's going to be me wandering around this mansion. Here I need to hug the ceiling, or I guess the top, rather. There are pitfalls everywhere, so long as I take the same path, I'm good. Hug the top again. Now hug the bottom instead. And I do need to still be a little careful with it, because I have absolutely no idea where to go through any of those dungeons that it sends me to. This one right here gives me one... Oh, this is the worst one. That's great. Alright. Okay. So, that's unfortunate. I got the very slowest one that I could get there. There are 4 different patterns that could give me. That was pattern 4. I have them ranked just from fastest to slowest. The fastest one, I just have to jump on a switch and, like, the door opens. So it's pretty fast, but it's random, so what can you do? So there, you go falling down into the dungeon, and whichever direction you take in the dungeon is which one it puts you out at. 1, 2, up, 1, 2, down. Okay. Again, there are pitfalls all through that, so I have to make sure that I avoid them all. The shell explains the katana. That does, actually. Wow, I've never thought about that. Why, you would be the one to give me that. Alright, so we beat Zoda X. This is Zoda Y. He's laughing maniacally in our face, menacingly, and we think it's radical. Dude, Mike lives for danger. Alright, Chapter 7. Oh yeah, it was a sweet laugh, but, I mean, I don't know if you would stand there in front of him smiling going, dude, your laugh owns, while he's about to murder you. Alright, so now we're in Transylvania. We're gonna hit the Frankenstein's monsters and have sentient pants. Don't get back here. Get back here. Okay. Okay, we're fine. As soon as you hit them, they move around randomly and very quickly, and it is very hard to hit them after that. Good. These enemies right here are some of the worst in the game because you can only hit them from the back or side. Come on, turn. Turn. Nope. Oh, wow, that was pretty slow. But I didn't take a hit, so I'm pretty happy about that. So I have to go diagonally through that pitfall, because otherwise I will fall infinitely through, like, 4 different rooms that it makes you just get off at. And that's, you know, the first one is what I have to go through. That's probably one of the fastest I've ever done that room. That's a pretty awful enemy in the game. I have another one that I have to do in a few more rooms. Good. Gotta be careful with the spheres that this guy drops, because if I hit them, they come zooming at me. I only hit him 3 times. I thought I hit him 4. Okay, here's that guy, and we'll see what pattern he gives me. Okay, we're fine. This is fine. I'm gonna go ahead and grab this and use it, because that refills 5 hearts, and that'll, since it's right in the way, it doesn't really waste a lot of time to grab it, like it would in another dungeon. So that should save me at least a couple of seconds by the end, with the health refills. So here we're fighting Zoda Y. He has 2 phases. Okay, there's one. Now we get to find his true form, which is this cross between a fly and an owl, I guess. Nice. That was a very, very good fight. The Y stands for Dracula. You got it. You've done it. You guessed it. You've done it. Alright, so we get our next block. I mean, Tetrad. Great, so I didn't have any time lost there for the health refill, which is very, very good. It's also radical. Chapter 8. We got 2 left. This and Chapter 9. So now we find ourselves in medieval times. Mike is magic. He just walks across ravines like that. You know, doesn't have to go down to the other. We're going to talk to King Arthur. I am now Christian. I got another heart. Woohoo! We're healthy. Who's here is healthy right now? I am now a knight. And no other knight will go and fight this dragon that I am now going to do as a 16-year-old. With no armor. Or much experience at all. Yeah, exactly. The real historically accurate King Arthur. I can't get enough of the music in this game. It's so good. Oh, get back up here, you jerk! Messed that up a little bit, but I didn't take any extra damage, so I'm fine with it. Now again, I don't get slowed down by walking diagonals, which is why you see me walking towards a diagonal and then jumping out of it when I get to the end of the conveyors. Okay, got him. Nice. Whew! I missed one hit on the second cycle because I didn't quite hit him in the proper places before. But it worked out, so we're happy about that. Yeah, we're moving in more than 4 directions. Alright, so you guys, you know, we went and we found a monkey, we found a donkey, now we found an owl. They're all, you know, they're all great guys. Or the same guy. Or the same wizard. So he's telling us what we're collecting these tetrads for. And it's actually, you know that girl Micah who's been talking to us this whole time? Through telepathy? We saved her in the previous game. And she's from an alien planet. And her father is actually still alive and communicated through dreams and things. And that's where the tetrads come in. Once we assemble the tetrads, he will come back. So I have to go collect them all. So I killed both of those at the same time because when 2 of them are dying, only one of them has come on, their shots, their death shots, actually expel. The other one gets erased. Yeah, I gotta collect the Tetrad to play Tetris 99. You got it. StarTropics team knew what was happening back in 94, what was gonna come up for the future. That is not the room I thought it was in. Alright, that's okay. We'll make it work. I knew I was gonna kill these things, but I thought about the one that happens later on for some reason. So I moved to the wrong spot of the room. That's okay, though. So in this room, I can actually do another Void Walk using the spikes there. But I'm not going to, because it saves maybe 2 seconds of time, and is by far the hardest Void Walk in the game to execute. Because there's no real setup for it. So it's definitely not worth going for. Okay, that was not a bad gold knight. I got more to go through later, though, so we'll see how it goes. Just for safety, I'm going to grab one of these. Now we got 2 gold knights in here. Oh, we went up. What the? The O's goes down! Like, always goes down. That was weird. Okay, that wasn't too bad, though. And we got another one in here. Alright, so we're just gonna kill that guy again. Oh, okay, it's fine. It was calculated. I killed the gold knight first this time. Absolutely calculated. So this is the room I thought I was in earlier. So here's this dragon that nobody would go and fight. And I'm not sure why no one would. I mean, he doesn't do anything. Like, I don't know why knights wouldn't go fight this thing. He had nothing on him. Alright, so we've got our last Tetrad here. Okay, that's fair. Nobody else has psychic powers. I tried to put the Tetrads together, but nothing happened. Mike can't play Tetris. He's gonna have to learn how to play Tetris later. So yes, there was the medicine in there, but unless I have at least 5 health gone, then it's not worth it, because he takes time to pause to pick it up and show it in his hand, and then you have to pause and use it afterwards. So you're wasting some time doing that in the end. So unless I have a full use worth of the medicine, then there's not a point to it, because I'll lose that time over just waiting for the health to refill. Alright, so this is the final chapter. We're almost done here. I hope I finish this enough time to watch the credits, because the credits are amazing. So this is the first game, Sea Island, and everyone here is a boar, including the pig back there in the corner. That pig must be really, really confused being a boar. No one else, though. No, this is normal. Absolutely normal. That pig, though, totally confused. But yeah, this is the first game's dungeon as well as the music, revamped for this game. So those who have played the first StarTropics game will recognize this dungeon and music. So some of the room clears are slightly different. And it's missing, like, 2 rooms. Right here, after this room, there would be another room that I'm supposed to go through that has rats and bats in it, but they took it out for this one for some reason. Oh no, I need that. Need to kill the bats. Okay, so we're gonna do another void walk here. This is the first boss as well of the game, and we just skipped him. So, we'll see Sea Serpent. In the first game, you can also skip the first boss. I'm gonna pick up this medicine for safety. If I was going for PB, which I'm definitely not on pace for right now, then I would skip it. And now we have boss refights. A little slow on the Yum Yum. You can actually kill him before he gets out that last attack there if you're in the right positions for it, but that's alright. Yep, it is the Sea Serpent because it is Sea Island. That is correct. And that is what it's called in the first one. In this one, it's like Dead Sea Serpent is all it's called. In the first game, you just have to damage boost and then walk across his back, and that's it. In this one, you void walk. And the void walk is, like, stupidly easy to do compared to the other void walks in the game. And saves a lot of time because you don't have to fight the boss. Got that terrifying thing again. Get out of here. Final boss soon. So this is the pattern that I wanted to have the first time. Oh, but I screwed this up because I got too far to the right on the push pads, the conveyor pads. So each one of these jumps I did, I mentioned earlier that I can buffer inputs. I'm buffering every single one of them. So every single time I release A, he jumps, I immediately release A and then hold it down again, and he jumps on the very first frame possible. That's much more relevant in the first game where you're locked onto the grid movement. So your movement gets all of that included with it. Woo! Alright. Thankfully, the Ultra Psychic Shockwave does a lot more damage than the previous weapons I've had, so a lot of the bosses become quicker. Also, shoutouts to the spikes down at the bottom there. They were a different spike tile set in the actual dungeon, for some reason. They were ones that poked out of the wall, and now they're ones that poke out of the ground. Nice. Also, I can walk on these now, for some reason. Oh, he actually fired his fire. Okay. Fired is fired. That's a phrase I just said. So we don't fight every single boss. We fight all of the ones that are just at the chapter end. Give me the medicine. Remember to take your pills, kids. I can only hit one of these. It's the one that has a purple tinge to it versus blue. So this is the final boss of the game. It won't be time until I actually do a couple other things at the end. But yeah, this is the final boss at least. Diagonals are great. Keep doing that. Okay. That was a pretty good first phase. That was a pretty darn good first phase. Oh, that's not good. Alright, so, this is Life as a Boar, everyone. I hope you enjoy it. You know, it's fun seeing a different side of life sometimes, I guess, while you're running for your life. I love the design of this boss. It's super cool. It's a fun fight as well. Alright, that's the final boss, Zoda Z. You're already bored of it. Oh, man. Well, it's a good thing that we shifted back pretty quickly. Golbez was all three bosses. So, I'm going to do something a little fun here. It'll waste at least 1 second. There's a cutscene up here. If I just hold the direction, it skips it. But if I go back down the way I came, the game doesn't expect you to do that. So I can just take these guys with me. Alright, so time's coming up here. If I have another, minute for the credits, I'd love to watch those. But that's up to you guys. And... time. Tetris is my middle name, so this is where Tetris comes into play. Also, seizure warning right now. This is why Mike could not figure out what to do with the Tetrads. He tried to put them together, but he doesn't know how to play Tetris, like the Island Chief. So the Island Chief is going to play very obvious Tetris. I mean, obviously this is what you're supposed to do with Tetris blocks. No one would ever think otherwise. This is how you get a Tetris, guys. Alright, seizure warning again. Alright, so here's Huracron. He's alive. He's alive. Woohoo! They're all safe. Woo, thanks to Mike. Good B, Mike. I'll be thinking about you, because I can read in reverse. Still seizure warning. And then credits, if there's another minute of time. StarTropics games, I run both of them, and these are like the only two games that I will 100% watch the credits for every single time. The credits are so good for these games. I don't know, someone res Ozzy. So basically we're going to go through a slideshow of like everything that we just went through on this whole journey. Which is just really fun to watch. Like, oh yeah, I did all this, you know. The first game is... I like StarTropics 2 better, both as a speedrun and as a game. But StarTropics 1 has better credits. And a better low health sound. But yeah, StarTropics 1's credits are in color and everything, but this one still is good. Yeah, the event for getting credits in StarTropics 1 is conditional. The StarTropics 1 has to split on the boss kill because of an uncontrollable glitch that warps you straight to the credits. So we're forced to split there instead of the actual end of the game, just to make things fair. Because otherwise one person would get a 2-minute lead over somebody else for no reason. But not the case with this one. I love the design of Zoda Z, he's so cool. Here's like the theme of the song that they play throughout during every single chapter heading. Give you a nostalgia feeling. That's StarTropics 2, everyone. I hope you enjoyed.